Coming up in this edition of McKnight Media, a sudden goodbye for Nova radio star Smallzy. It's time to call out the news media bargaining code for what it is: pure BS protectionism. Understanding the truth about AI copyright issues making headlines, I get the facts from the man who co-authored the Productivity Commission report. And I'll break down the latest ratings, all that and, I promise, plenty more. Welcome to episode 5 of Media McKnight.
Good evening. A horror crash on the southern Gold Coast has left a man trapped in the wreckage for hours. Live now to Hataya Gripsky in the newsroom. Hataya, hello to you. It was a lengthy rescue mission.
Some technical issues for 9 News in Queensland there on Saturday night. That shot really wouldn't have been out of place in an 80s movie when a sexy woman walks into the scene. But on the news, it was just weird. Hello, I'm Rob McKnight. With over 30 years' experience in the media sector, this is Media McKnight. And it's never a good sign when someone announces they're leaving a long-term job at the end of the week. On Monday, Kent Smallzy Small made the sudden announcement he would be leaving Nova after a 23-year association with the network. When I first started the show in 2012, I never would have imagined getting to do the things I have done, from the celebrity interviews to Nova's Red Room and travelling the globe covering the biggest events, he said. They've all made the show something very, very special. Thank you to everyone who's been part of the show. I live with fond memories, lifelong friendships, but most importantly, I'm grateful to every single person who has ever chosen to spend their night with me. You know, I would have loved to have played audio of Smallzy making that announcement, but Nova have not made it available anywhere online at the time of recording. And look, it's certainly a tough time in the media sector at the moment, and this has all the hallmarks of a forced parting, not a planned resignation. The sad thing is, these days, even great ratings don't seem to be enough to save great talent. According to an Instagram post by Smallzy, in the last GfK survey, the show was Australia's #1 most popular show. Back in 2023, Smallzy told Mumbrella that he would like to host a national breakfast show. It was a wish that didn't come true. Now, look, by all accounts, Smallzy is a great guy and he certainly is a fantastic broadcaster, so I genuinely wish him nothing but the best going forward. Well, the Productivity Commission's interim report into the use of AI in Australia has caused a lot of concern for artists and content creators. Many articles have been written as though the report suggested giving up copyrighted works, but the interim report doesn't actually make any recommendations at all. Last week, I spoke to co-author of the interim report, Stephen King, on McKnight Tonight, and he says he would like to make sure existing laws cover industry concerns rather than making AI-specific laws.
So we currently do not make any recommendations around copyright law. Let me be very clear that we are not making recommendations for change. We are asking, are our current copyright laws fit for purpose? Do they need changing? How do we make sure that Australia's creative artists get fair reward for their content? How do we make sure that the tech companies aren't just getting a free ride here?
So that sounds like the report has no intention of giving away content for free. But concerns from the industry shouldn't be overlooked. This from page 26 makes interesting reading. Is there a case for a text and data mining exception? Another option is to expand the existing fair dealing regime, which provides certain exceptions to the requirement to obtain permission from the copyright holder. Currently, there is no exception that covers AI model training per se. However, depending on the case, a different exception could apply. For example, AI models built as part of research could fall within the scope of the research or study exemption. Now, personally, I don't believe AI companies should come under the umbrella of research. These are private businesses which will end up making profit off other people's work. But Dr. King says compensation is the key.
So currently, creative parties in Australia aren't being rewarded when their material is being used to train overseas AI companies. Now, we can't fix that under our copyright law, but we need to make sure that our copyright law gives fair compensation to the creatives while also allowing the tech companies to be able to license or use the creatives' products with fair compensation to be able to get the applications of AI that we need in Australia.
And when I raised industry concerns with him, he reminded viewers to make a submission. With this only being an interim report, there is still time for the industry to have its say before it's too late.
It's a different take
Oh my God, she's a Republican. She must be racist.
on the news of the day.
A kid should have the right to punch back against a bully without consequences.
Join Rob McKnight for the home internet streaming show that's very different to the rest.
My BS detector is going through the roof.
Streaming live Monday to Thursday at 9 p.m.
I am so pumped for McKnight tonight.
Subscribe now at youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight.
You know, I've always found it strange Australia's biggest news providers are demanding companies like Meta and Google pay for access to their content. And I find it bizarre the Australian government is willing to capitulate. Google and Meta are not posting entire articles, they are simply linking back to the original source. In fact, Australian news websites rely on the traffic generated through Facebook, etc., to boost their numbers. I can tell you for a fact, some websites in this country would lose significant audience without social media referrals. So in that case, why should big tech have to pay for the privilege of sending consumers to an external website? The answer, because the Australian government keeps trying to prop up a dying industry. And I don't like saying that because I love television. I love what we supply here. But an industry that refuses to evolve and simply relies on sugar fixes to retain as much of the audience that's left, that's a problem. And it's a whole other story. Remember a few years ago when those big tech companies were pushed into doing content deals with News Corp, 9, 7, 10, etc.? They made millions and claimed the money would be used to reinvest in local journalism. Well, we now know that was a lie. And how do we know that? You won't believe this. One of the main players has actually revealed the truth. Speaking on the ABC's Medialand podcast, Chris Jantz, he was the former Chief Digital and Publishing Officer at Nine. Well, he's only gone and let the cat out of the bag when asked about the previous payments from Meta and Google.
Media policy in this country has, for many years, really entrenched incumbency and concentration. You go back to the media ownership law changes that allowed the Nine Fairfax merger, through to the News Media Bargaining Code that really benefited, the majority of which benefited the shareholders of three large companies.
This was because the Google and Facebook were encouraged to do deals with effectively the big end of town.
Yeah, and the bulk of the cash flowed to the big end of town. I was running one of those at the time. It was fantastic at the time. The reality is, though, the money flowed to shareholders or flowed to retire debt.
Because it wasn't guaranteed to be spent on the journalism. It was just used to increase the profit.
And very little flowed to new entrants.
And this is why the News Media Bargaining Code is complete BS. When Meta decided to remove all news content from Facebook, small sites like TV Black Box, which I co-own, were caught up in the fight and our content was removed from the platform. Despite that, when it came time for financial handouts, did we receive anything? No, we didn't receive a cent. And now we know what those big companies were doing with the money. And we have to ask, did they deserve it? In my opinion, the answer is a resounding no. If these news organisations were serious about not liking their content being used on social media platforms such as Facebook, it's easy. They should stop posting their stories there. But if they did that, their monthly numbers would drop dramatically. So they won't be doing that anytime soon. It can be tough working on the road for news crews, and to prove how hard it's getting, look at what they have to put up with from protesters who harass them. A new video has come to light which shows some activists approaching crews from the ABC, 7 and 9, accusing them of a COVID cover-up and stopping them from being able to shoot their stories. First up, this reporter is identified as being from Channel 7, but he didn't really handle this well.
What's going on, Bo? Oh, this Channel 7 reporter.
I saw him. I was just coming to ask him what.
Otherwise, he'd put me in hospital.
You told me you live in the dream. What's living the dream, Mr. Channel 7 news reporter? You talk shit to the public. You come in here like you shit don't stink. You're a liar. You're a treasonous traitor to this country.
Next up, we have a crew from Channel 9. On the whole, they handled the harassment pretty well.
It's about time you stop telling lies to the Australian people. And, what's this story about? What's this story about, pedophiles or Daniel Andrews selling out the Australian government?
That's all right, I'll hop here. I'll hop right here. How's that? How's that?
You have a good one too. Where are you off to? Come on, you can do your story here. You can do your story here too, can't you? Come on. Where does here Australian people want to have a say as well? Go on. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
We'll just keep going, we'll just keep following these.
Tell the truth. Come on. Tell the truth to the Australian people. How far are you going to go away? How far are you going to walk away? Because you're not going to get your interview here without us here. So, would you tell us about the lies you spread to the Australian people, please, love? What's your name, hey? Oh, where you going? Where you going? Hey! You want to do look out for the puddle. You want to do a fucking story for the Australian people. Why don't you stop telling lies to the Australian people, Channel 9?
People don't get tested.
You won't get a story around Parliament now because all you do is tell lies to the Australian people. You sell out an agenda by a pharmaceutical company. Who pays your wages? Is it Pfizer? Or is it the Daniel Andrews sell out to the...
Believe what?
Oh, yes, I do believe. Do you believe in the vaccine?
It's mRNA. It's not even a vaccine.
Yes.
It's gene
Tell
therapy.
us, Mr. Person who's feeding bullshit to the Australian people. Tell us your version of what you think of the vaccine.
Nothing but harassment. And look, we all know nothing can be done, and this crew handled themselves really well.
Children.
Well, until the very end when the reporter stuck her finger up.
Hello, love.
Oh, she stuck the finger up. You missed it.
Oh, what? You stick the finger up. Do it again for the camera. Come on.
Hey.
Can't do it again.
Obviously, doing that just gives them more ammunition, but I have a lot of sympathy for her losing her cool. I'm not sure I would have been so calm. Meanwhile, this ABC journo, well, she handles the situation beautifully.
When are you going to start reporting the truth to the Australian people? Serious question.
That's a good question. We try to do our best to report.
You're not doing the truth.
You watch our local news?
I do. I try to watch as little as I can of mainstream media news. You're selling a narrative to this country that's an absolute lie. All the Pfizer documents and that are coming out now. What do you got to say for yourself about all the lies you've pushed for the last 2 years? The network you work for. You're still pushing the narrative. You're still pushing the narrative of everything that went down. Like, come up here. You realise there's a lot of protesters been up here for a while. Why haven't you come down and done a story about what we're here about the Bill Heffernan's parliamentary speech on the Woodrow Commission and the suppression of the... Well, you're here, and like I said to you the other day, we're going to make it hard because we think you're reporting lies to the Australian people. It's nothing personal, but I know you've got to do a job and you're getting a paycheck, but at some point you've got to own that you're reporting lies to the Australian people.
Propaganda, you are.
Thank you for your input, but we do have a job to do, and I appreciate that you have your opinion.
Did you get a good interview? Because we're going to shut you down the rest of it. I hope you did.
I keep coming back to that word harassment. It is pure harassment, and these attacks are the reason crew cars no longer contain network logos. Years ago, remember you'd see a 7 News or a 9 News, 10 News, ABC, SBS. They'd plaster their cars with logos. It was seen as prestigious, but now it's become a liability, so they've stopped. Okay, let's take a look at the ratings wash-up for the last week. According to information provided by Nine, 7 won the week with a 42.9% commercial share. That means the information doesn't include the ABC and SBS. 9 was in second place on 38.7, while 10 pulled in 18.5, way behind. 7 News was the highest rating show of the week with 1.579 million viewers, followed by 9 News on 1.45 million. The Logies did well for 7, drawing in 1.43 million, but the block held up really well for 9 on 1.34 million viewers. It was 9 and 7 rounding out the rest of the week, again noting this information supplied only relates to commercial TV. Now, something to keep an eye on, though, is the Sunday night news race. For years, 7 has been unstoppable, but recently 9 News has been making some serious inroads. This Sunday, just gone, 9 beat its rival 1.476 million to 1.416 million. Considering the huge margin 7 gets in Perth and regional Australia, this is a result not to be underestimated and a story to keep an eye on. Okay, before we finish up, let's go through some quick items. SBS Managing Director James Taylor has announced he will step down later this year to take up a role at Media, succeeding Cathy O'Connor when she steps down in early 2026. We know that 10 is bringing back Millionaire Hot Seat, and now rumours have started over who will be hosting. TV Tonight reports 3 names are in the mix: Rebecca Gibney, Christian O'Connell and Carrie Bickmore. For my money, 10 shouldn't go past Bickmore. It would be a welcome return to television for the Gold Logie winner and would fit in well with her radio schedule. I know 10 still love her, and it would be a positive reunion at a time when the network needs all the good publicity it can get. The only thing that could stand in the way on this one is budget, but game shows are much cheaper than reality TV shows. And on that note, expect to see more game shows in 2026. That will be the TV trend. Still on 10, and it seems Big Brother really is going back to basics, with Mumbrella reporting the revived series won't feature anyone who works for or has recently worked for the wider media sector. Good. For years we had 9 promising normal people, only for them to cast young, sexy, boring wannabes. Big Brother has always been about connection and realism, and it sounds like 10 gets it. I'm really looking forward to this. And do yourself a favour, search out the Big Brother YouTube channel to see streams of old seasons and new uploads of the original Australian series. All right, that brings us to the end of this edition of Media McKnight. The video streams every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. AEST, with a follow-up article posted on the TV Black Box website the morning after. I'm Rob McKnight. I hope you can join me for my home internet show, McKnight Tonight. It streams every Monday, Wednesday and Thursday at youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight. It's a different take on the news of the day. I hope to see you then. Cheers.